A social media blackout didn't stop protesters from gathering on Iran's streets for a fourth day and posting these videos. The Iranian government says people have the right to express their discontent, but violence is unacceptable. Iranian state media says some social media sites and messaging apps such as Telegram have been blocked to keep the peace. On Saturday, there were also pro-government rallies.
We cannot predict the time when the protests will come to an end, but the protests will shake the people in power, who must give priority to people's demands and needs.
The state of the economy and rising prices sparked the initial protests. Austerity measures after years of sanctions have led to a 12% unemployment rate, but anger has also shifted to foreign policy. Protesters are critical of the government's support for the Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Hamas in the occupied Palestinian territory.
And that is exactly why I'm making this video. These protests, like any demonstration, they came out of nowhere. And the first day it started over the price of food, and then it shifted to foreign policy almost immediately. Okay, and I'm not, look, Hezbollah, Assad, Hamas, Israel, these people, these are all disgusting actors who have committed heinous atrocities. However, if your concern is over food and the price of food and the economy, in my view, it makes absolutely no sense to have in the course of 24 hours you shift over to what Iran is doing in the foreign policy arena. That to me is very suspicious, and that's me personally. I'm of the view that these protests are being sponsored by foreign agents, probably the Saudi intelligence, the Israeli intelligence, and of course the CIA, because Hamas, Hezbollah, Assad, these are all three of these are the enemies of Saudi Arabia, the United States, and Israel. And so there definitely is foreign involvement, or there is definitely foreign meddling in these protests. And in the context of Iran, if you look at their history, this isn't the first time the United States installed the Shah, and they removed the democratically elected President Mossad in the 50s in a very similar fashion to this, so I am personally very suspicious of this. And we know that the new Saudi leader, he's very ambitious, he's very aggressive. Many people would say he's turning the entire region upside down and he's sowing the seeds of chaos. That's probably true, but let's watch the rest of this.
The Iranian government says foreign entities are fomenting violent and deadly clashes. Among the dead, 2 people, 1 a boy, hit by a fire truck in what's been described as an accident. Authorities say it was stolen and abandoned.
Through investigations, we came to know there is a clear role played by the foreign intelligence agencies and the government opposition in these killings. The police never opened fire on the protesters.
Down with Khamenei! Down with Rouhani!
In Washington, D.C., outside the White House, people called for the removal of President Hassan Rouhani. President Donald Trump tweeted that people are, quote, getting wise to how their money and wealth is being stolen and squandered on terrorism. Rouhani fired back.
آقایی که امروز در ombudsman who today in America wants to sympathize with our people has forgotten that a few months ago he called the nation of Iran terrorist.
These are the largest protests in almost a decade. Although Sunday's protests were smaller than the previous night, there are calls for people to continue with the demonstrations. Natasha Ghanem, Al Jazeera.
Yeah, so I am very suspicious of what the Western intelligence agencies, the Saudis and the Israelis, are doing in Iran, because this is very dangerous. If evidence is shown and evidence is brought forward proving beyond a reasonable doubt that the U.S., Israel, and Saudi Arabia had a hand or whether it be financing this, whether it be sending in agents, whatever. It's very dangerous for the entire region. So we'll see how this plays out. Signing off. Thanks.